Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Wakarkadash. Shalom to the elders for preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered to the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely as well, too. I say shalom to the Akim out there, and this is a sit-down lesson that I want to bring out from the JerusalemPost.com of this recent news article as of September the 20th, 2023 by Reuters and by Jerusalem Post staff, and it reads, Kremlin says Russia plans to expand ties with North Korea in all areas. And keep this in mind, you had Kim Jong-un visit Vladimir Putin and visit all the areas over there in the far east of Russia. So, and then you had, I would say like a couple of days ago, you had South Korea and the United States. They had a meeting.
And you want me to put your food up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm going to go there today so I can get her ID and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to put your sauce and rice up in a black bowl.
Oh, okay. Good morning, man.
It'll be ready when you get up.
Okay. So keep this in mind, back to what I was saying was you had South Korea and a representation of the United States. They both came to an agreement that, I believe they was issuing that warning to Moscow and Russia about if, North Korea expands of a nuclear alliance with Russia and North Korea together, and he was saying that from the representation of South Korea says there's going to be ultimately consequences for that, because I believe they said they potentially might have violated the UN rule or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. That was the warning that was coming from South Korea. So, the ties between South Korea, Japan, and the United States, those economic ties, and military ties with them are strong, and it's increasing, So South Korea issued out that warning to Russia and North Korea if they do have some type of, war, economic ties and military ties with one another, and South Korea issues to North Korea and Russia. Now you have this right here, a couple of days later or a week later, now you have North Korea and Russia plans to expand ties with one another, potentially from a military standpoint, from an economical standpoint, from an increasing cooperation standpoint as well too, because they feel like they got the same common enemy, which is their enemies are the United States and Ukraine and those sorts of allies as well too, and NATO, So this is definitely going to stir up more tensions. So now you have Russia and North Korea has expanded their ties with one another, definitely from an economical standpoint, from a military standpoint, definitely from a nuclear standpoint as well too. So now we're going to see how South Korea and the United States are going to respond to this. If they're going to push more economic sanctions on them, or they're going to use some military action if necessary. So we're going to see how that plays out. And that goes into that Matthew 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. So we're going to see how this plays out. But, I just want to add an additional note to that. But in the meantime, I'm going to read it again. This is a news article from the Jerusalem Post as of September 20th, 2023 by Reuters. And it says again, Kremlin says that Russia plans to expand ties with North Korea in all areas. Russia wants to expand ties with North Korea in all possibility areas, the Kremlin said on Wednesday. Spokesperson Dmitry Peskov was replying to a question from reporters about last week's visit by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un to Russia's Far East, where he held talks with President Vladimir Putin. And this is the book of Matthew 24 and verse 6. And as we've been seeing, the Russian-Ukraine situation been heating up, and we definitely been seeing what's been taking place over there in Korean Peninsula, North Korea versus South Korea, Japan, and the United States. As we've been seeing those both tensions on both sides. So this is now you have this article after Kim Jong-un just visit Vladimir Putin over there in Russia, and then he made a tour visit over there, the far east of Russia as well too, as of last week. Now you have North Korea and Russia is about to explore and expand their ties with one another. So we're gonna see how South Korea and the United States respond to that. If they're gonna use economic sanctions on them, or they're gonna swiftly respond from a military action standpoint. So, like I mentioned again, so we're gonna see how that plays out. And this is from the Blue Letter. This is from the BibleGateway.com. This is Matthew 24 and verse 6, and it reads through the Holy Scriptures. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but then is not yet. So the wars and rumors of wars between the different nations rising up against one another. Economical, from a military standpoint, of nations are being allies with one another, going against their adversaries to team up against them. And that's what we are seeing. And that's a sign of wars and rumors of wars. And this is Matthew 24 and verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, right? One nation rising up against another nation. One nation of army rising up against another nation of army. Nation of armies teaming up together, going against their adversaries of nations' armies. So that's what we are seeing. Kingdom against kingdom, modern day kingdoms going against another modern day kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. So with that, hopefully this sit-down lesson was edifying of this recent news article from the JerusalemPost.com as of September 20th, 2023 by Reuters. As it reads again, Kremlin says Russia plans to expand ties with North Korea in all areas. So with that, hopefully this sit-down lesson was edifying. I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Mokarkadash. Shalom to the elders for preaching the word truthfully and sincerely, and shalom to the Akim, scattered through four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely as well too. And until next time, I will say shalom.